Good evening, and welcome to the September 9th meeting of the Gloucester City Council. Yep, that's you. This public meeting of the City Council is recorded on Zoom with a link that is posted on the agenda. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or device, there is a raised hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options during oral communications and public hearings to be recognized to speak. If technical difficulties arise and the Zoom link is interrupted during an in-person hybrid meeting of the City Council and a quorum is present, the meeting may continue after efforts have been made to reestablish the link. The minutes shall note the interruption. It is the finding of the City of Gloucester that no individual should be denied equal treatment or opportunity because of their age, ancestry, color, disability, including intellectual and developmental disability, family status, immigration status, gender identity or expression, military status, marital status, national origin, race, religion, sex, or sexual orientation. This evening we have Ward 3 Councilor Dylan, Ward 2 Councilor Dylan Benson. Sorry, Marjorie. Councilor at Large Valerie Gilman. Ward 4 Councilor Frank Majota. Ward 1 Councilor Scott Memard. Ward 3 Councilor Marjorie Grace. Councilor at Large Jason Grow. Ward 5 Councilor and Council Vice President Sean Nolan, and I am Tony Gross, Councilor at Large and Council President. And we have online, we have Kenny Costa is joining us remote, and next to me here is Grace Poirier, our city clerk. And that is it for city staff. We will now have a flag salute, and Sean will lead us in a moment of silence following that. Councilor Memard, you're up for the flag salute.
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight, I'd like to call for a moment of silence for Patty Wall. Patty has been involved in so many things in the city in helping people from all diversity of their life, whether it was with hunger, the need for COVID assistance, shots, the Angels, finding people rides, more especially the elderly, to get their shots, and just someone that was always very given to the community. And she loved this community that she lived in. And there's a million things that we could talk about that would surround what she's done. But more importantly, we're here to recognize the fact that she cared, and she was a great citizen of Gloucester, and will be sadly missed. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Oral communications.
Is there anyone in the audience in the auditorium who'd like to speak during oral communications? Okay, no one in the auditorium. We have Mary Ann Boucher.
Thank you, Mary Ann Boucher, 93 Mount Pleasant Avenue. Welcome back to City Hall after your summer break. I would just ask that you could move the camera back. The public on Zoom cannot see all of the counselors. We see 5 out of the 9. So if I'm making the request that you pull the camera back so that we can participate as well as being in the room. Thank you.
Okay, we got the full picture now. Thank you, Mary Ann. Okay, Joel Favaza.
Good evening. Thank you. For the record, my name is Joel Pavaza. My address is 28 Middle Street. I wanted to just quickly follow up. Last I spoke with you was regarding the EV charger stations, I believe downtown. I believe later tonight you'll be voting on accepting a grant. I just want to point out that while I think it's amazing that we went out and sought a grant for something like this to improve our EV chargers, I'm really concerned about this being kind of an example of where we don't use our resources effectively. So to keep this within my 3 minutes, right now we have 4 Clipper Creek chargers downtown, 2 on Warren, 2 at the Gloucester House. They charge at 32 amps. You could replace all 4 of those with their newer model, which is 40 amps, for less than $3,500 in purchasing price. And I've confirmed with DPW employees that they have the technical skills and people on staff to swap those out should the city choose to spend $3,500 or less to replace them in kind. Instead, somehow, the city has gotten a grant for $38,000 to replace those 4 chargers with 2 dual port chargers, and somehow the city still has to pay more money. So it could be a sub $5,000 job if we just bought the newer model of the ones we have and had our own DPW install them. It's somehow going to run north of $38,000. And that just to me sounds obscene. And again, while I'm grateful that you went out to get this grant, it's just so disappointing to see the city awarded so much money and doing so little with it. It just feels like there must be so much waste baked in. I see a $10,000-ish fee for the company that put the proposal together in the actual award. You know, that's a good start to look there. But again, like I said, I do appreciate what you're doing here. I'm glad to hear we're investing in EV chargers downtown. But oh my goodness, that we can't with $38,000 replace the 4 that exist when privately we could do it for less than $5,000 is super frustrating, super disappointing. And I hope that going forward, we'll do a better job of vetting out how we're going to spend money on green technologies going forward. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you. And next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Presentations, commendations.
All right, tonight we're going to kind of just do our own presentation. It's September is Hunger Action Month. We have we have someone here from Open Door, and we are also doing a collection this month in City Hall. There'll be that little box that's out in front of us. There will be that will be down in the rotunda. And this is, we all have our orange Hunger Action Month t-shirts on. And I don't know if anyone would like to speak about Hunger Action Month from the council. Councilor Gilman.
Our community is so blessed to have the Open Door. It does so much for everyone. And the volunteers are awesome. And it's just a nice time to really reflect on how lucky we are to have so much community giving for people that are less fortunate. So Sarah Grow, thank you for all your hard work. And to Julie and the whole team at Open Door. Thanks.
Thank you. And Ms. Grow, would you like to say something as the Open Door representative? Turn to face the camera. No. You have to go to the microphone. Name and address for the record, please. Oops, it's not on.
Thank you very much, Council. I'm Sarah Grow. I am the Director of Advocacy and Development at the Open Door. I just want to thank you all for recognizing Hunger Action Month. The Open Door serves just under 12,000 people annually with more than 2.35 million pounds of food. 1 in 6 Gloucester residents use our services, and we truly couldn't do what we do without this wonderfully generous community and the support from you, the City Council, and of course, the Mayor and everyone else here in Gloucester. So thank you very much. And thank you for thinking of our neighbors who just need a little help to get by during this, well, during 365 days of the year, but particularly this month of September when we honor Hunger Action Month. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone know, the mayor he said he would be here, but he is out with COVID and is, I think, right now in bed, feeling pretty miserable. So I'm sure he'd much rather be here wearing orange. So with that, I'd like to entertain a short recess so we can all gather and have a little photo op.
Moved. Second, sorry.
All those in favor? Aye.
Where do you want us, Tony? Where do you want us?
Oh, yeah. The freebie.
Freebie. All right. That wasn't for you. So,
Stick around for the fun?
Come on. Going back to London.
Don't be so excited.
all right. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
The consent agenda.
Would anyone like to remove anything off the consent agenda? I would like to pull the application for of Dowsett Lingard Post 624 VMW Incorporated, VMW, to conduct Beano on October 14th, 2025. And I would also like to remove the referrals on CC 2025-040.
I move to approve the consent agenda with the exceptions of item 1 under applications and item 2 under counselors of orders.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. So the first item, I think I'm going to let Grace kind of explain this first item that we need to take up and vote tonight so that it is done in a timely manner. I think because the state requires them to have some lead time. And this is not considered a measure.
Correct. So this, for bingo/Beano applications, the city council has to, according to state statute, the city council has to vote to allow gambling in the city. They're not voting on the qualifications of the organization. It's just saying, you know, we're okay with this organization having a Beano event on these particular dates. Once city council votes to approve that, the application gets signed off by the city council, and then the applicant has to send it off to the State Lottery Commission, who actually approves the event itself and verifies that the applicant is indeed qualified. And as you can see, these dates are coming up and they do need a big lead time. So we got this last minute within the time frame for the agenda, but it was a last minute submission, and they were quite concerned about having it go forward so that they could get it to the state.
Move to approve?
Second?
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. And now we need a motion to reconsider.
Moved?
Motion made by Councilor Memard, seconded by Councilor Worthley. Any discussion on the reconsideration? Is that roll call? No? I don't want it to be, but do we need to be roll
Has
call?
been.
We don't have to do a roll call. All those in favor?
No, it's.
No.
No.
So we'll start again. Reconsideration. Reconsideration. All those in favor?
No.
Oh.
All those opposed? No.
We did this really
Oh,
The
well.
motion
Noes, noes.
fails 9-0. With nobody wanting to approve in spirit. All right. So this next, because we're doing this as an emergency order, emergency orders require a preamble by, according to section 11B, I believe it is, of our charter. So I'm going to read the preamble, and Councilor Memard's going to read the ordinance. Now, when we do this emergency measure, it will only be for, is it 60, 90 days? 60 days, that's what I thought. And so we're also going to refer it at the end of it so that it does go through both O&A and P&D because, and BNF because it does have some fines attached to it. All right, I'll read the preamble. Emergency preamble. Whereas the Gloucester Police Department and Essex County District Attorney have reported that virtual currency kiosks present a serious risk of harm to the city of Gloucester by subjecting members of the community to sophisticated fraudulent schemes to steal and acquire cash through intimidation, threats, and coercion. And whereas on August 4th, 2025, the United States Federal Crime Commission Enforcement Network published a notice on the use of virtual currency kiosks for fraudulent payment and other illicit activities. It is stated that criminals engaged in fraudulent schemes and often tell victims to use use kiosks to send payment. In 2024, the FBI reported receiving over 10,000 complaints relating to virtual currency kiosks and an approximate loss of $246.7 million, an increase of 99% since 2023. Whereas the City Council recognizes its duty to protect residents, especially the most vulnerable, the City of Gloucester finds that cryptocurrency kiosks or Bitcoin ATMs pose an immediate and serious threat to public welfare. Fact shows these machines have become a primary tool for criminals to perpetrate scams such as tech support or romance fraud by coercing victims to deposit cash, which is then converted into untraceable virtual currency. The FBI, FinCEN, and FTC have all reported that these scams disproportionately target and cause immense financial harm to senior citizens and other financially vulnerable individuals, with losses totaling hundreds of millions of dollars nationwide. These transactions are often irreversible, and the kiosks lack adequate consumer protections. And therefore, the City Council finds that the operation, installation, and use of virtual currency kiosks within the City of Gloucester poses a clear and present danger to the public health and safety of members of this community, as the kiosks are being used in a highly sophisticated and fraudulent manner to manipulate, intimidate, and threaten individuals to deposit cash into the machines under false pretenses and using false claims for fraudulent purposes to acquire the cash. The Gloucester City Council declares that this crisis constitutes an emergency requiring prompt and decisive action to prevent further financial ruin in our community members. And we need to vote on the emergency measure. So I so move, I guess, is the end.
Second.
Wait a minute. No, I got to keep going. Motion, in according to city charter, section 211B, the city council declares that an emergency exists, and I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gross, seconded by Counselor Nolan. Discussion. Counselor Gilman.
I'm a little bit clueless, like, how do we identify where they are? I know we're referring this right now, but I'm intrigued by where they are located.
Counselor Nolan.
All right, so I'll bring up the start to finish on this. I was contacted by Lieutenant Gossam from the Gloucester Police Department. They've already had fraudulence going on in the city, mostly with our elderly. There are two known ones at the time when we spoke. One is at the variety store below the Drift, and one is at Shaw's on Eastern Avenue. They've had multiple complaints and a lot of different situations where people have been ripped off already. Basically, these scams have been going on for a long time. If you deal with a local bank or with Wells Fargo, the tellers are trained to speak to the people and ask, why do you want to transfer this amount of money? What do you want to do this? Does your family know? With these machines that we're dealing with, people are just going down there making deposits. The police have been able to retain some money, but giving back the money, there's no mechanism to give it back because someone voluntarily gave it. So there are funds that are being held that they can't return. After speaking with Lieutenant Gossam, I went right to Mayor Verger, and Mayor Verger had stepped in and we talked with Paul Tucker. At that point, I reached out to Tony and Scott to work on this because we don't want to have people being ripped off or making bad decisions and taken advantage of because of their age and not knowing what's going on. Then Mayor Verger sat down with Suzanne Egan and Catherine Schlitte, and we had language that was given to us from, I believe, Colorado or another state. And we had to break this language down into a point where it would meet Mass General Law, because this is new to us. Then the draft was sent through to Scott, myself, Tony, the mayor, and to Paul Tucker, and obviously Catherine and Suzanne were involved. They worked with Paul Tucker's office on the language to come up with a complete draft. In the information on this is something that's going to be enforced by the police department. The inspections will be done by the police department if things are on or premises of a public place. It's pretty much cut and dry that these things are harming people in our city. And I understand that, people want to have access to Bitcoin, but they can transfer funds from their phone. But the way these machines work is people are using their funds to transfer to other people for reasons that are fraudulent. And so what we're looking for in start to finish, to answer your question, the police will be handling where the locations are. Right now, I believe there's two, and they know where they're at. But I don't think they belong in the city of Gloucester, and I think this is a great effort between the police department, the Verger administration, and the council, and hopefully the council responds tonight to this. that this is needed. It's very sad when someone loses $20,000 that they're never going to get back. And that's something that happened. And if the police are seeing it and they're already working on it, this is something that I firmly believe in, but it will be enforced by the police department. They'll keep an eye out where the machines are and they'll deal with the fines. Thank you.
Vote on the emergency measure.
Just a question, how quickly will this go into effect and what will happen?
Immediately, it's an emergency.
And what will happen to the 2 kiosks that are out there already? Will they be shut down?
30 days, they have to remove them. Okay, so it's in the ordinance. Okay. So, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0. Counselor Memard.
I'll read the language of the proposed.
Oh, wait a minute. I have one, sorry. Accordingly, due to the increase in sophistication of fraudulent schemes enticing victims to use kiosks, the city council finds that the circumstances warrant adopting an emergency measure to prohibit the installation and operation of the virtual currency kiosks in the city of Gloucester. And now Councilor Memard will read the motion.
Yes, the motion pursuant to City of Gloucester Charter, Section 2-11B, the city council adopts an emergency measure, quote, Chapter 14, Article 3, Virtual Currency Kiosk Prohibition, Sections 14 through 18 through 14 through 23, prohibiting the operation, the use, and the installation of virtual currency kiosks. The language is as follows. Ordered that the Gloucester Code of Ordinance, Chapter 14, Offenses and Miscellaneous Provisions, be amended by adding a new Article 3, Virtual Currency Kiosk Prohibition. Chapter 14, Article 3, Virtual Currency Kiosk Prohibition. Section 14-18, Purpose and Intent. The City of Gloucester Police Department and Essex County District Attorney's Office reports that unregulated virtual currency kiosks are able to convert fiat, that's currency of the United States, fiat currency into virtual currency instantaneously and irreversibly, which exposes the most vulnerable of our citizens to unnecessary risk. The purpose of this article is to prohibit the installation, operation, and use of virtual currency kiosks within the city in an effort to protect our community. Section 14-19, effective date. Due to the extreme risk of instantaneous and irreversible financial damage to the city's most vulnerable members, it is necessary that this measure be effective immediately upon enactment. Section 14-20, definitions. A, virtual currency, a digital representation of value used as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, or a store of value, but does not have legal tender status as recognized by the United States government, including but not limited to Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Litecoin, Ripple, Zcash, Ethereum, and similar blockchain-based tokens. B, virtual currency kiosk means any self-service kiosk, machine, or device installed in a publicly accessible location that enables users to buy, sell, exchange, or transfer virtual currency through the machine using cash, debit card, credit card, or other means of payment or other virtual currency. Section 14-21, virtual currency kiosks prohibited. It shall be unlawful for any person or entity to host, allow, operate, permit, locate, or place a virtual currency kiosk within the city of Gloucester. All virtual currency kiosks existing within the city of Gloucester as of the effective date of this ordinance must be removed within 30 days after the effective date. Section 14-22, administration and enforcement. A, this section shall be enforced by the police department. B, this section may be enforced through any lawful means, including but not limited to non-criminal disposition pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40, 21D, in the event of such disposition and subject to the safeguards of 21D, any business or individual that violates any provision of this article shall be subject to a fine of $300 per each violation. C, each day that the violator continues to operate the virtual currency kiosk shall constitute a separate violation of this article. D, fines are cumulative, and each day or portion thereof shall constitute a separate offense. If more than one violation occurs, each condition violated shall constitute a separate offense. Section 14-23, severability. If any provision of this ordinance is held to be invalid by any court, by a court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity shall not affect the remaining provisions, which shall remain in full force and effect. And further ordered that this matter be referred to the Ordinance Administration Standing Committee and the Budget and Finance Committee for review and recommendation, and I so move.
Motion made by Counselor Memard, seconded by Counselor Grow. Discussion. Counselor Memard.
I think this is important. I'd like to commend Counselor Nolan for taking the initiative, working with the police department and the Attorney General's office, the District Attorney's office to get this into place at such an expeditious rate, and I think we need to act on it promptly. Thank you.
Anyone else? Suzanne and Catherine, would you like to comment on this?
Good evening, members of the City Council. Yes, so this measure to prohibit the virtual currency kiosk or something that's very important to Mayor Verga. Unfortunately, he can't be here tonight. This ordinance that was drafted, it was a model of it was provided by the Essex County DA's office. I've also spoke with the City of Waltham's attorney, and City of Waltham is also considering a very similar ban. This is an important measure to protect the community, and the way that it is drafted provides for the appropriate enforcement and penalties.
Thank you. I will just like to say my conversations with the DA's office, we are the leaders in this, in taking on this matter for Massachusetts. And they were very happy, and they had hoped to attend this evening. Something must have come up. But it's really nice to show that Gloucester, again, can be on the forefront of protecting our citizens. Councilor Worthley.
Thank you. Just in general, I support this, and I think I commend the mayor's office and the councilors involved in pulling this together. Only one question I have, or two questions. Have we actually notified the business owners who have these kiosks? Because the $300 a day fine, even though they have 30 days to get rid of them, it sounds like the fine starts immediately. And I just think out of fairness, if we try to reach out to them, let them know this is something that they need to deal with, it's better than accumulating fines for them over the next 30 days, whatever it is. So
The fines would not start, correct, Suzanne?
That's correct. So the ordinance reads that it becomes effective 30 days. The prohibition is 30 days from the date of the effective date of the ordinance, so that anybody who has the virtual currency kiosks on their property has 30 days to remove those kiosks before incurring any fines.
okay, I read it differently. It said the effective date is the date of this ordinance, and they must be removed within 30 days of the effective date. So I just, again, it's neither here nor there if we're not going to find them starting tomorrow, but I think it'd be fair to those business owners if we were going to do that, with property owners, at least to let them know that there's a new ordinance that.
I think the answer was that no, the fines will not start for 30
Okay.
days. Councilor Grow.
But this will, just to follow up on that, this will prevent anyone from putting in a new kiosk starting today. So that nobody can put in a new kiosk
Right,
moving forward.
so it prohibits the use of the kiosk, and then it states that the kiosks that are in existence must be, I'm paraphrasing, must be removed within 30 days.
I'd also like to point out, this is an emergency measure. This still has to go through the whole formal process of public hearing and both subcommittees. So this is an emergency measure right now that we are taking emergency enactment on this ordinance that will then go through the entire process. Oh, we're voting to enact it as an emergency measure. And then we vote to refer it after that. So right now, right now we're voting to pass the emergency measure. Counselor Gilman.
All right, is there anything that would prohibit us from just putting a sign on those two kiosks that just say exactly what we just said? You know, just so people don't go and.
Suzanne, yes.
Okay.
Suzanne.
Yes, so the city doesn't have the authority to put signs on private property without permission. So we can adopt an ordinance that prohibits certain activity, but we don't have that authority to go onto private property and post unless there is a law in effect.
Thank you.
All right.
So
Counselor
if
Benson.
once, not to get into the minutia here, but so you're, for one, once this is passed, we would be able to put those signs up, is that correct?
Oh.
That's not what,
No, we
So the
can't go on
sign-
private property and put signs up, correct?
So,
Or-
right, so the.
because you said, I was just curious, because I thought you said like, once the law is passed, we could put the signs up or.
No, I was
Okay.
saying that at this moment, we cannot put any signs on private property.
Yep,
And in other times, the city doesn't put up signs on on private property, I should have said, sorry.
it's okay.
And the enforcement mechanism in the ordinance provides that it can be done through chapter 4020, section 21D, which is the ticketing process.
Yep.
So we would ticket. So we're not going to render any of the kiosks. We're not going to take any self-help as
Yep.
to go and post or disable any machines that are on private property. We'll go through the enforcement ability and process that we have under the law. There's
That-
nothing in the law that states that the city can go on to private property. I mean, there is some, right, building, under some codes, you can go on.
Of course,
and
yeah,
post,
like
right?
building, like.
But
stuff.
not in something like.
Not in something, no, and
Right.
that's,
Not in
now
this
you
type of
cleared it and I
instance.
totally, and then again, so it would be that if they continue using them, we would be fining them.
Exactly.
That's, okay. That makes perfect sense to me, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. 9-0. I'd also like to have a motion to reconsider.
Well, second?
Motion by Councilor Gilman, seconded by Councilor Memard. A little bit in reverse, but job got done. Everybody remembers now, all those in favor to reconsider. All those opposed to reconsider.
Aye.
No. Motion fails 9-0.
Get this right.
All right, now we need a vote to refer this to O&A and B&M.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Councilor Grow, seconded by Councilor Memard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
September 4th Budget and Finance Standing Committee Report.
Councilor Memard.
It's been suggested that we do this as a consent agenda unless there's any particular concern. So I'll summarize the items that were motioned by the Budget and Finance Committee last Thursday, and then if anybody wants to pull something off, they can. The first item at Budget and Finance last Thursday was a memorandum from the police chief requesting our acceptance of the fiscal year 2026 911 support and incentive grant in the amount of $102,983. The second item was a memorandum from the Veteran Services Director requesting acceptance of donations supporting the veteran services in the amount total of $2,758.25. The third item was a memorandum from our DPW Finance Manager requesting acceptance of Mass Electric Vehicle Incentive Program in an amount of $38,440. And the fourth item was a memorandum from the Director of Elder Services requesting our acceptance of the Mass Cultural Council on Aging Field Demonstration Project Grant in the amount of $25,000, all of which were approved 3-0.
Okay.
You can move to adopt the consent agenda for Budget and Finance Committee?
Second. Any discussion?
I do.
Councilor Grow.
Well, we're just going to move to adopt the entire thing. I just wanted to take a second to point out once again that city departments and city department heads and folks in each of these departments are taking the effort and time to put forward hundreds of thousands of dollars of grants that we accept on almost a nearly biweekly basis. And I just want to thank them for their efforts. This is about $165,000. We've had grants that we've approved in various weeks that have done that. And it's just such a great addition to our revenue.
Can I
Okay,
speak to
thank
this
you.
as well?
Certainly.
On the Council on Aging, $25,000 grant, I, being an ex officio in that particular board, I just wanted to mention to all of you that Elise Sinagro did a really nice presentation at BNF. So if you haven't watched it, I would encourage you to watch it. And she really did a nice job presenting it. And she had already presented it to us on the Council on Aging board. So I know that the motion's already on the table to accept these, but I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, 9-0.
Yep.
Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
There was no ordinance and administration meeting on September 1st. It was a holiday. So next up is the September 3rd Planning and Development Standing Committee report.
Okay. The only thing we have was a special events application, event 25-54. Request for street closures for the Fish Box Derby on September 21st, 2025, with a rain date of September 28th, 2025, which we passed. The only difference that I think people need to be aware of is that this is no longer going to be going down Rogers Street. It has been moved to Gloucester Avenue. So it will start at the top of Gloucester Avenue and end at the bottom where Cape Ann Lanes is. Cape Ann Lanes is going to be offering their facility for bathrooms, and there's going to be food and all sorts of things. So if you're involved in this event, it's great for the community, great for kids, but don't show up on Rogers Street because it won't be there.
Okay, thank you. Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing 2025, number 42, RZ 2025, number 5, amend GZO to repeal section 5.16 Village Development Overlay District and leave section 5.16 reserved for future use.
All right, I will open the public hearing. And is there someone who'd like to speak in favor?
Councilors, good evening. Greg Cadmatori. I'm on Zoom. If you'd like me to speak to the measure, or I could wait until there are questions. But you should have in your packet a report from the planning board dated August 12th that looks remarkably like the memo that was sent to the council upon initiation of this zoning amendment. The public hearing at the planning board was fairly limited. It was really kind of a discussion amongst the board members themselves, again, who initiated the repeal of this ordinance. The Village Development Overlay Ordinance, our district ordinance, was developed back in 2003, and it was a product of the Daler report. I could throw up an image of the area that we're talking about if it would be helpful, but I'll just briefly outline the rationale for the planning board's recommendation to repeal this ordinance. Much of it came from an actual application that was submitted, but when that was submitted, it was also recognized that this ordinance had been on the books for almost about 2 decades, maybe a little bit more, 2025, and had very limited use. It was designed to be an incentive district in essentially the Essex Avenue corridor. This was put in place in advance of the extension of the trunk line into Essex. And it was not very, there was basically no use of the ordinance until more recent, where there was one application that was filed, which really revealed a lot of internal consistency issues with the ordinance, clarity issues with the ordinance, and also, the potential for kind of an unintended consequence of the ordinance itself. There were differences in interpretation between an applicant that filed, the board's interpretation, And it also has some conflicts with other operative parts of the zoning ordinance itself. So there was the discussion among the subcommittee members of the planning board that have been focusing on ordinances recently about whether or not to try to repair it or rectify it in some way. There are other things that have changed that affect the potential use of this. There were decisions that were made around the sewering of other areas in Ward 5 too, over a couple of administrations ago, where folks were kind of in limbo, whether they were going to upgrade their septic systems or potentially await potentially public sewer extensions. That policy shifted, so the district is not even really coherent in its original intent. So for all those reasons, which again are outlined in the planning board report, it was unanimously recommended to repeal the ordinance.
Thank you. Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition or anyone else who wants to speak in favor? Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Do we have any communications?
No.
Questions from the counselors for Decatamatore? No, I'll close the public hearing. Counselor Grow, would you like to read the motion?
On a motion to Councilor Grow, seconded by Councilor Gilman, the Planning and Development Committee voted 3 in favor, 0 opposed to recommend that the City Council amend Gloucester zoning ordinances Section 5 special regulations by deleting Section 5.16 village development and adding Section 5.16 reserved, and I so move.
Motion made by Counselor Grow, seconded by Counselor Gilman. Discussion. Counselor Grow.
Just, I think this is a great example of recognizing that the best intentions sometimes in zoning don't always pay dividends, and that this was a measure that was created with the hopes of doing something that never actually ended up doing anything. And then since then has come in conflict with other things that we've changed that we're probably more interested in keeping, including the inclusionary housing ordinance and things like that. So I would support voting to eliminate this.
Anyone else? No. Let's have it, the roll, please.
Counselor Memhard.
Aye.
Counselor Nolan.
Aye.
Counselor Worthley.
Aye.
Counselor Benson.
Aye.
Counselor Gilman.
Aye.
Counselor Grace.
Aye.
Counselor Gross.
Aye.
Counselor Grow.
Aye.
Counselor Majota.
Aye.
Vote is 9 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
Next order of business, Madam Clerk.
For council vote, the decision to adopt special council permit 2025 number 4, Prospect Street number 14, map 25, lot 77, for a change of use to convert a commercial use into a 7-unit residential use, GZO section 2.3.18, and special permits for lesser lot area and open space per dwelling, sections 3.2.2 footnote A in the R5 district.
Counselor Grow.
I move to adopt the decision for special council permit SCP 2025-004 Prospect Street number 14, map 25, lot 77, to convert a commercial use into a 7-unit residential use in the R5 district, and I so move.
Motion made by Counselor Grow, seconded by Counselor Gilman. Discussion. Okay. Call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Counselor Memhard.
Aye.
Counselor Nolan.
Aye.
Counselor Worthley.
Aye.
Counselor Benson.
Aye.
Counselor Gilman.
Aye.
Counselor Grace.
Aye.
Counselor Gross.
Aye.
Counselor Grow.
Aye.
Counselor Majota.
Aye.
The vote is 9 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
You're up again, Counselor Grow.
Let's see, I move to adopt their decision, special council permits, special council permit 2025-006, Gould Court number 8, map 15, lot 88, to convert the existing non-conforming 7-unit structure to its prior legal status as 2 3-family dwellings in the R5 district, and I so move.
Motion made by Counselor Grow, seconded by Counselor Gilman. Discussion.
I would like to make one point.
Counselor Grow.
I know these are acceptance. I just want to point out that both of these permits that were granted also included provisions for inclusion of affordable units that will be deed restricted in perpetuity, which means we've added more affordable housing to our stock.
Thank you. Does this require this? Yep. Call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Counselor Memhard.
Aye.
Counselor Nolan.
Aye.
Counselor Worthley.
Aye.
Counselor Benson.
Aye.
Counselor Gilman.
Aye.
Counselor Grace.
Aye.
Counselor Gross.
Aye.
Counselor Grow.
Aye.
Counselor Majota.
Aye.
Vote is 9 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
Okay, next order of business, Madam Clerk.
Counselor's request to the mayor.
Counselor Memard.
I have no requests at this time. I would, however, like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank Catherine Bayless and the Bayless Society, Jonathan Bayless Society, for the recent weekend celebration of Gloucester's Literature and Harbor, which was very well attended and interesting event over the course of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Worthley.
Yes, I just want to draw the mayor's attention to one thing. I'm in receipt of an email from some neighbors, some parents in the Briar Neck area looking for an exception to the bus route situation. So he should have that email. I think we all have it, actually. now that Did I say Briar Neck? Where you used to live. So, sorry. Briarwood. So it looks like we're all CC'd. I thought I was only CC'd on it. So we all have it and the mayor has it too. So everyone's back to school. Appreciate the challenge of kids going back to school and also for people to slow down. There's more kids walking than ever and just be careful. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Nolan.
I have no request to the mayor, but I'd like to put out there some information on recycling. Recycling did start last week. It's a tough road for us to follow. There's a few things that have happened. Normally, we would have 2 trucks for it. We have 1. We have an overload of people putting their recycling out, which is totally up to them. We have people that have saved it. They weren't able to get the DPW. When the truck fills up, it has to go to Peabody to dump and then come back. So it's a little bit of a backlog. The DPW has been themselves working on gathering recycling. All I can ask is please be patient. This is a real issue for the city and for all of the people in the city. And the administration and the Department of Public Works is doing the best they can to take something that was dealt to them that we have no control of. So if your recycling didn't get picked up, and I understand some people brought it in, brought it out, brought it in, brought it out, just please have a little bit of patience and hopefully they'll get it and take care of it. But they are working very hard with this and it's very difficult on a lot of people. So it's not just yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Counselor Benson.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Gilman.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Counselor Grace.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Sawyer Free Library. Yes, it is an absolutely gorgeous facility and it's going to be a treasure for this community. And just also a shout out that we got a street in my ward, 2 actually, Madison Court and Monroe Court, were paved over this past week and new sidewalks installed and it looks fabulous. So I'm grateful for the hard work.
Thank you. Counselor Grow.
I was going to say the library.
Bad.
Yeah, well, the library was amazing and it was a great event, but she's already said it all. The only thing that would make it better would be a rainbow crosswalk from City Hall to the Sawyer Free Library. I'm just saying, there's still time.
Counselor Majota.
My question is, I think we all got this email for the safety of that particular area where the accident was. If we could just have more of a police presence and a speed monitor up there just to track the speed. And I think we've all said this, if people can just slow down, that would be, make things a lot easier and safer. So thank you.
Okay. That's it. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Gilman, seconded by Counselor Majota. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, 9-0.